Okay, so I'm guessing that my editor is gonna be very happy with me today because we ran out of time with the car and now I have to do the whole car review while driving. So yeah, what can I say? This is a new episode made by DanTheRomanian. I enjoy speaking about myself in the third person. So today we're gonna talk about the DS7, the brand new 2023 DS7. The French response to the BMW X3, the Audi Q5, Volkswagen Tiguan, Volvo XC60, Jaguar E-Pace, and so on. So basically your medium-sized SUV, but on the premium side of things. So this is a premium model. So basically on the exterior and on the interior you're gonna see that the whole car is based on the diamond theme. So the whole grille is shaped like a diamond and at the same time it's filled with diamond notes all over the place. That's pretty nice looking. They changed the headlights unlike the previous model. At the pre-facelift, they had very active and dynamic headlights that had a lot of tiny engines to swivel around. Now they just stayed with the classic type because on the previous ones, they couldn't put matrix LED on it. So now we have matrix and of course the headlights are way better. I'm not gonna talk too much about the exterior because you can take just a quick look with all of the shots that I'm gonna set about this car. It's very beautiful. That's all I can say. I know it's something subjective, so everybody has its own opinion, but at the same time, I really think this is a very beautiful car. On the interior side, you're gonna find out, again, everything is shaped like diamonds. The stitching is shaped like diamonds. All of the upholstery, all of the details all over the place on the steering wheel, behind the steering wheel, the dashboard, the cockpit. Everything has some diamond somewhere, somehow. But at the same time, this is the DS team. And in case you didn't know, DS stands from goddess. And what's even funnier, that the engine in this car, I'm gonna talk in a minute about it, the engine in this car is called the Prince. It's a it's an engine made in collaboration with BMW. They call it the Prince, and it's very funny that we have the Prince in the goddess. That's a very bad joke. So, the steering wheel, very good shape. I like the fact that it's not fully round. Again, that's a subjective thing. I like the fact that it's not fully round and the bottom side is straight. But if you drive a Peugeot, you know that those have both the bottom and the top half straightened out. That I do not like. So it just depends on taste. The seats are amazingly comfortable, and on this model, they're both heated and ventilated, so that's also a nice thing. But you cannot opt for the heated steering wheel and you cannot opt for the heated back seats. So those are two tiny minuses that I don't know if you care about them or not. I do, for example. I would like at least the heated steering wheel. I don't care about who sits in the back. I just want my hands to be warm. Also, whenever you turn on the car, you have this BRM clock that just swivels around, Bentley style, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And not only that the whole car has diamond shapes in it, it also has a lot of tiny elements that make you think about clockworking. So you have the BRM clock, and on all of the grills from the vents you have tiny squares that imitates the buckle from your watch. At the same time, the stitching, you can opt for knot stitching, so not just the simple one that we have on this car and you see on basically all of the cars, but stitching with knots all over the place. That's another thing you see on watches, and that's kind of how they got their inspiration. I'm sure it's a big collaboration between BRM and this, but I do love the originality, and I do love the fact that it simply looks beautiful. Everything has a very, very premium feeling in this car. Even in the lower bits you have some scratchy plastic, but it's not your everyday scratchy plastic. It's actually one that had a bit more attention to detail. You can see that it's way better quality than you see on different cars. For example, I had Mercedes-Benz GLC 400e, basically one of the rivals of this car. Even though Mercedes has beautiful materials everywhere, whenever you go down, it was way scratchier than this. So yes, this is the DS7. It starts at around 44,000 euros for the base model, and this particular one, because it's the 1.6 liter plug-in hybrid version that has 300 horsepower. This one starts at around 60 something thousand euros, and this one is configured at 77,000 euros. It's almost fully spec'd. Unfortunately, it's all black on black on black. So you have a black interior with black trims all over the place. And if we did not have the panoramic sunroof, it would have been a very, very dark car. Therefore, I recommend that if you want to buy a DS7, go for, I don't know, a different colored interior. So I know they have a tan interior that looks amazing, and they have another very interesting interior that's somewhere between brown and cherry. I had it on a DS9 some time ago, and that was simply stunning. That was one of the most beautiful interiors I've ever sat in. And yes, of course, the color makes the difference, at least the biggest difference. So yes, we have the 1.6 liter, 300 horsepower. I think it's around 450 to 500 Newton meters of torque. We have 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds declared. And I managed to get out of it, but not in optimal conditions, 6.6. I'm sure you can get more, but at the same time my battery is completely drained, so I don't think the car has all of its power right now. I do like the fact that the digital cockpit has a very beautiful resolution, and at the same time you can change a lot of mods. So if you look on this camera over here and we swivel this one around, so now it's gonna change to the minimal setting where you have just the speed and that's it. Now I'm gonna put the energy monitor, and now it shows you a nice animation with what the car is doing. And if you floor it a little bit, the rear wheels start doing their job. Other than that, it's just a front wheel drive biased car. Not only that, you have even a night vision function that detects. The night vision is actually very interesting because it's with a thermal camera. So if you only have cars in front, you will only see the exhaust system because that's the one that gets heated up. So you have a thermal camera with night vision, and that detects the pedestrians on the side, and they basically, it makes a square around the pedestrians so you know not to hit them. But at the same time, it starts beeping randomly even though the pedestrian is over there and you are over here. Then you have a few other views over here, and they're actually pretty nice. So the graphic is amazing, everything is well thought of. So yes, this is a car you should actually consider. I do not like the fact that people don't exactly know about the DS, or they don't want to know about them, but at the same time they actually make pretty nice, pretty good cars. At least while driving them, you don't want to be anywhere else. I mean, come on, just take a look at it. Just on the camera you can realize how good materials you have inside. The audio system is the Focal Electra that I just found out about that. Focal owns Naim. Yes, I think Naim is called the sound system from Bentley's. So yes, you have a very good sound system as well. The screen, very good resolution, very bright, and at the same time you can see that you have a full screen Apple CarPlay on a 12-inch display, so that's something everybody will enjoy. And here on the center console you have the drive mode selector, and that is electric, comfort, hybrid, sports, and four-wheel drive. And at the same time here are the locking and unlocking button and all of the windows, so you don't have any buttons on the side. What this car is lacking of is the amount of ambient lighting. So you only have ambient lighting on the piano black bits on the doors, all 4 of them, but that's it. That's all of the ambient lighting you get. And driving wise, this car has actually been a pleasure. So I have the car for 3 days. I've done about 150 kilometers so far, and I did not wish to change it out of comfort or hybrid. I usually just spend the time in the hybrid setting, but I wouldn't want anything else, because this car is made simply for comfort and long road trips, and it's just an immaculate pleasure to be inside of it. I do enjoy it. I really did enjoy the car for these days. So, comfort you have. Power, I'm sure that's more than enough. I don't think anybody needs more than 300 horsepower. I actually don't think anybody needs more than 150. But 300 is more than enough. And at the same time, the car is surprisingly dynamic. Yes, it understeers because it's front-wheel drive biased, and the rear-wheel drive system just starts whenever it feels the need to. It also has predictive driving, so it knows that whenever you're gonna go into a turn, it will start the rear-wheel drive motor. It will start it in advance, so it doesn't knock you off your trajectory. So yeah, driving-wise, I don't have a lot of things to say about it, except the fact that the steering wheel is very precise. It does not have lag. It doesn't balance too much whenever you're taking turns. It does balance, but not in a bad way. It's not exaggerated in any way whatsoever. It's dynamic and extremely pleasant, extremely comfortable. So yes, I don't exactly see a true reason that anybody would not consider buying this car instead of the BMW X3 or the Audi Q5 and all of the other rivals. It's simply very well thought of, and the attention to detail is done in a French way. I only hoped it would make French fries or baguettes, but that's not the case. In the back you have plenty of room, actually plenty of room. So I'm 183, the seat is in my position because I'm the only one who drove this car for the past days, and when I went in the back to try it out, I had a lot of space both at my head and at my knees, and it's very, very comfortable. And this car actually can sit 3 people comfortably because there's no center tunnel whatsoever. It's literally gone. And there is no central tunnel because it's not your everyday all-wheel drive car. Basically, you have an electric motor that virtually engages the rear-wheel drive from time to time. Fuel economy, it's not very the best. I got 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers in 185 kilometers. So it could be better, but at the same time, the battery from the plug-in system only works for about 30 to 35 kilometers, so that's not much at all. That's actually where the Mercedes-Benz GLC 400 wins, because instead of a 3.5 kilowatt or 7.5 kilowatt hour battery, whatever the size of this one is, the Mercedes has a 32 kilowatt hour battery. So that means you can go 110 kilometers only on electric. And yes, bigger economy, comfort is the same. It's not that big of a difference between this one and the Mercedes GLC. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to buy a medium-sized SUV, you should actually take a test drive with this car, because it's one that I personally would consider. Other than that, we have 2 USB-Cs in the front, another 2 in the back, and we do have a wireless charging pad that if you have, for example, an iPhone Pro, my colleague has the 13 Pro, it fits there perfectly. I have a Pro Max, a 14 Pro Max, and it does not fit with the case. So I have to take out the case and then put my phone in the wireless charging pad. That's a bit annoying. Nobody wants to take the case off their phone every time they just jump in the car. So yes, that is one disadvantage. And what else is funny is that The car starts from 55,000 euros. The trunk space is 555 liters and the fuel tank is 55 liters. So yes, I don't know why it doesn't have 555 horsepower, but it is what it is. I cannot complain with 300. And yes, as you can see from this camera, in front of me is my colleague with the DS7, but that's the diesel version, the 1.6 liter diesel that produces a majestic 130 horsepower, and this one has 300. So I don't know why you would put such a tiny engine on that big of a car, so it's just too underpowered. The minimum I would put on this car would be 150, the minimum, and 150 on a diesel, so you can have some torque. So if you put a 1.6 liter petrol engine in it, it goes about 250, 300 Newton meters, and that's just a little bit too little. You need more torque. So yes, I know this was not your everyday Romanian car review, just because of the lack of time that I had. It rained way too much in the past 2 days and we couldn't film until today. The weather is just berserk right now. You cannot understand anything about it. So yes, this is the option that I chose instead of not presenting you this car, because in my opinion this car should present interest to basically anyone. I'm not sure if this car sells in the United States or not, but I know it does in the United Kingdom, and I know that my audience is mostly UK and US, which was the goal of this channel. But at least my editor is gonna be happy because he's gonna have way less to work at. And on that note, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because that's literally all I need in order to continue reviewing more cars for you. And I also have different types of episodes coming up as soon as possible.